I am your host, Christene Marie, and today we are chatting about Lesson 21 in A Course in Miracles. This book is so incredibly profound and it is a bit dense. So I really like to take my time moving through the lesson and also give a recap. So I'm going to be reading the last 10 lessons, maybe 11, starting with lesson 9, and then we'll move up and move through lesson 21. I see nothing as it is now, lesson 9. Lesson 10, my thoughts do not mean anything. Lesson 11, my meaningless thoughts are showing me a meaningless world. Lesson 12, I am upset because I see a meaningless world. Lesson 13, a meaningless world engenders fear. Lesson 14, God did not create a meaningless world. Lesson 15, my thoughts are images that I have made. Lesson 16, I have no neutral thoughts. Lesson 17, I see no neutral things. Lesson 18, I am not alone in experiencing the effects of my thoughts. Lesson 19, I am not alone in experiencing the effects. Oh, I'm sorry. Lesson 18 is I'm not alone in experiencing the effects of my seeing. Lesson 19, I am not alone in experiencing the effects of my thoughts. Lesson 20, I am determined to see. And here we are with lesson 21. I am determined to see things differently. The idea for today is obviously a continuation and extension of the preceding one. This time, however, specific mind-searching periods are necessary in addition to applying the idea to particular situations as they may arise. 5 practice periods are urged, allowing a full minute for each. In the practice periods, begin by repeating the idea to yourself. Then close your eyes and search your mind carefully for situations past, present, or anticipated that arouse anger in you. This anger may take the form of any reaction, ranging from mild irritation to rage. The degree of the emotion you experience does not matter. You will become increasingly aware that a slight twinge of annoyance is nothing but a veil drawn over intense fury. Try, therefore, not to let the little things, thoughts of anger, escape you in the practice periods. Remember that you do not really recognize what arouses anger in you, and nothing that you believe in this connection means anything. You will probably be tempted to dwell more on some situations or persons than on others, on the fallacious grounds that they are more obvious. This is not so. It is merely an example of the belief that some forms of attack are more justified than others. As you search your mind for all the forms in which attack thoughts present themselves, hold each one in mind while you tell yourself, I am determined to see the name of the person differently. I am determined to see, specify the situation, differently. Try to be as specific as possible. You may, for example, focus your anger on a particular attribute of a particular person, believing that the anger is limited to this aspect. If your perception is suffering from this form of distortion, say, I am determined to see, specify the attribute in name of person differently. Just jumping back over here. Well, good morning, everyone. It is January 21st, and this is the first time that I read the lesson beforehand and moved through the exercise because frankly, I wanted to just be extra prepared for this morning. It was really interesting. I did that exercise and a couple situations came to mind. Specifically, situations came to mind with people in my family. And there's situations that frankly, one of them I thought I had, I guess, healed from or moved on from, but I just realized that there was still some hurt there. And it was interesting, the goal of this exercise is that we actually focus on the anger and like give it voice and let it come up. And then we say whatever it is that I'm determined to see different. And the second I started saying to myself, I'm determined to see different, immediately it was like everything dissolved. It was so interesting. So I'm curious what your experience will be. But it wasn't that necessarily the anger dissolved. It was like my perspective shifted. And that just brought in, it was like the anger was still there, but there was this whole other dimension. All of a sudden, what was my focus of the anger, all of a sudden it was like I zoomed out and I saw them and I saw the situation in a completely different light. Even just by saying, I'm determined to see different. Like, it wasn't like I went in saying, I know how I'm going to see it different, but it was like a willingness to see it different that actually allowed for an expansion and almost like a greater horizon. It's like the farther out we zoom from something, the more context we have. I was actually talking with someone the other day, and we just had this moment where I got triggered, and I was like, okay, I I needed to, well, I will say, I'll give a little more context here, because actually it was really helpful in this situation. So they said something, and immediately I was like, wait, I didn't know that. And I felt taken aback and I felt a little bit activated. And in that moment, I remembered that my intention for that morning was that I want to maintain peace, like my peace. And David Hawkins, I recommended this book last night when we were on the show. David Hawkins wrote a book called Letting Go. That book has helped me so much. He assigns numerical value to emotions. So shame is number 50, courage is number 200, peace is level 600. So the second I got activated, I felt myself dropping, dropping, dropping. And I was like, wait, my intention, I want to maintain my peace. And so I just took a moment and took a deep breath. And, yesterday's Course in Miracles lesson was, I am determined to see differently. And then, or I'm determined to see was yesterday. And then today it's, I'm determined to see things differently. And so there's, there's these lessons that are building upon each other, that when we are willing to address that I might be seeing something wrong, what I realized with my friend in that moment was that they had context I did not have, and vice versa. They didn't know that I didn't have the context. And with the additional context, I was able to zoom out and see a bigger picture. But if I'm so fixated on what it is that I'm seeing that's activating me, then and I'm not willing to, yesterday's lesson, be determined to see, just see in general, like, do I even want to know the truth, or do I want to cling to my anger? And then today I'm determined to see differently. That immediately pre-positions you and I to be open to what might I be missing. And it was so important in that conversation, because it escalated. Like, within a second I got activated, and then almost immediately it came back down. And that's the goal of emotional health and emotional intelligence, isn't that we're perfect. And I actually, I just recant that entirely. Perfect is so not the goal, and being angry doesn't mean we're not being perfect. But isn't that funny? Even me saying that reveals my narrative around anger. I'm still needing to, like, train my emotions and train my subconscious that it's not bad. So that was a good moment for me. The goal of emotional health and emotional intelligence, so much of it that shows that we're growing, is how quickly can we almost like return to ourselves and return to the moment. Because we'll be taken to the past. We'll get activated, we'll get triggered, and we'll return to the moment of pain. And then it's, what do we do there? What do we tell ourselves? Are we actually the ones in control of our mind? Or is the past or fear the one in the driver's seat? So with that, I just want to, oh, I know that I'm getting a little broken up here with my internet. I'll close my apps on my computer, but I just wanted to jump over here to the chat and say good morning. Sorry, I'm so glitchy. Okay, I think I'm back. Sorry about that, y'all. Um, Good morning, everyone. James, oh, James, good to see you. Thank you. Thank you so much for joining. Jake, good to see you. He says, where has the sound gone? Can you guys hear me? Yummers, hi. Thank you for joining. Fake Super, Clarity Whistler, Vano Mars, yes. Beautiful worlds. Good to see you. I love that comment. RA1A, hello. Thank you so much for joining. It's an honor that you're here. Big super, I am ready to answer questions if you ask any. Um, do Q, do Q, I don't know. Sammy, hi, good to see you. Um, Crazy Dutch, hello. I do like football. Oh, you're talking about soccer. Yes, I like both. I would actually love to go to a soccer game. Um, all right, just kind of scrolling down. Craftsman, good to see you. Rude Rally, I think is the name. Ah, all right, I'm just catching up. Why? Okay. Andrew, good afternoon. Good morning. It's morning for me, but good afternoon to you. Where are you? Are you I don't remember where you said that you were. Also, I wanted to say, um, Patrick, good morning. What is it? Ask. Good to see you. Jay, thanks for joining. Kin Fantry, good to see you. I do not know how to answer that question. I wish I could, though. That sounds like a fun time to be on your dirt bike. Um, Action, good to see you. I wanted to let you guys know something. I have this form. I asked my someone on my team to create a form. Um, I thought, Andrew, I thought you might be in the UK. I remembered. I think you said that the other day, but I couldn't remember. Um, Patrick, you're in Florida. So speaking of where we are, I asked my EA to create just a form for us because I want to start being able to stay in touch with you guys because, for example, Andrew, I'm planning to go to London in October for an event and I want to host a knowing dinner, maybe even a knowing retreat. So if you guys would be interested in joining if I come to your town, I'd love to do in-person events. I've been doing them for the last year and a half, but frankly, they've been kind of more like I've been personally inviting people. So if you guys would ever like to come, I'll go ahead and add you to the list. But here's a form if you guys would like to join. Just go ahead and put in your name, your city, all of that. And then you can also put in topics if you'd be interested in us talking about anything in particular. You know, these mornings are dedicated to A Course in Miracles, moving through each lesson every day, and then we chat a little bit like we are now. And then in the evenings, we go usually for about 30 to 50 minutes. Sometimes I'll have a guest. Sometimes, actually, most of the time I'm solo. And that's really our time to just dive deep on whatever topic you guys want to talk about, and then also whatever's on my heart. So that form, if you guys want to. Oh no, James, I just saw you say sounds off. Sound is off. Oh, it's like my voice not connected with my mouth moving, I guess. Oh, that's weird. But anyways, this what was I saying? The form will let me know where you all are and if you guys would like to join. And then there's also virtual. I haven't done a virtual event in about, I did the last one was before Christmas, but if you guys would be interested in both in person and virtual, just let me know. Kin Fantry, you're in New York. But not the concrete jungle where dreams are made of. It's actually the trailer park where meth gets made. Hey, someone's got to live in both. That's so funny. I love New York so much. I saw a comment that I wanted to respond to earlier. Where is it? Wazana 100%. I'm so glad you're here. Thank you so much for coming. Have you heard of the Rainforest Connection Free app? You can hear the sweet sounds of the jungle live 24/7. I've never, you know what? I have like the white noise app that I'll actually sometimes go to bed with, which is like the fan, but I've seen like they have the frog and like they have different things. So I'll check it out. Um, Heroe. Thank you. I so appreciate that. Thank you for joining. Um, Sure thing. I don't think I ever unblocked you, or I don't think I ever blocked you. I actually don't know how to do that, so I don't think you're unblocked, or I don't think you're blocked. Jay, thank you for joining. Um, all right, I'm just looking down here. Um, you said that you can hear me fine, so that's good. Um, All right, great. Phil, thank you for joining. Nick, thank you for coming on here. Guys, the just a reminder, I just wanted to return to today's lesson because frankly, I did this exercise before I joined and it was really meaningful. And I just would encourage you guys, like after we jump off here to do this, if you can. And then I also am going to be setting my alarm. There's 5 different practice periods that she encourages to do today. So I just have my alarm set throughout the day with this lesson. And the lesson is I'm determined to see things differently. And I just want to return to a few moments because she said a couple things here that word that stood out to me, and there's a word that I really like. It's conviction. It's like where something in me is like, "Ooh, I need that." And it's like a little mirror moment where all of a sudden we look in the mirror and we're like, "Oh, I didn't know that was in there." And some that happens a lot, where I'm gosh, ordering coffee and then someone's rude and I'm like, "Ugh," and then I'm like, "Oh, okay, there's ego, where I didn't know that I would react that way, and then I do, and then I'm like, "Oh, okay, that's clearly inside." Or someone's taking a while, and, like, last night, I was in the car with my friend, and I was like, "You know what, can we just take a minute? I'm starting to feel anxious right now, and I think it's just because," and I went through why, I actually had work that I needed to get done, and I was watching the clock. I knew I needed to go live last night, and I was like, I'm losing time to work. And so I just slowly was feeling inside like some pressure build up. But just by naming it last night, I forget who said this. So I'm so sorry, but it was so helpful. You just said, feel it, then let it go. And that's what it is. It's like feeling it, giving voice to it, and then letting it go. The definition of emotional intelligence is to be aware of, to understand, and then express one's emotions. That's literally the definition of intelligence. And obviously, there need to be boundaries in terms of how it's expressed. Where the goal isn't to just, rage all around. But the other half of emotional intelligence is to engage in interpersonal relationships judiciously with wisdom and with empathy. So those 2 words actually kind of are our guardrails of, okay, we need to be aware of, understand, and express our emotions. And then the way we do that with other people is through wisdom and with empathy. So I just wanted to share, with conviction, with these mini mirror moments. I had a few while I was reading this. So I just want to return to the lesson before we jump off today. I'm determined to see things different. In the practice periods, begin by repeating the idea to yourself. Then close your eyes and search your mind carefully for situations past, present, or anticipated that arouse anger in you. The anger may take the form of any reaction, ranging from mild irritation to rage. The degree of emotion you experience does not matter. You will become increasingly aware that a slight twinge of annoyance is anything but a veil drawn over intense fury. Try, therefore, not to let the little thoughts of anger escape you in the practice periods. Remember that you do not really recognize what arouses anger in you, and nothing that you believe in this connection means anything. You will probably be tempted to dwell on some situations or persons more than others on the fallacious grounds that they are more obvious. This is not so. It is merely an example of the belief that some forms of attack are more justified than others. That's what convicted me because I know for myself, there are moments where I actually feel more justified than others. Like, oh, I should be angry here. Actually, it's like I give myself permission to act out of alignment. And when I talk about alignment, for me, it's this hierarchical structure. So my behaviors, my beliefs, my actions, all of those are kind of like mid tier in the pyramid. And then the alignment brings them all into literally a vertical line under my own ideal of who I say I want to be, beneath who God says that I am. So at the end of the day, I am entirely subservient to my own ideal, but ultimately to God. And so in this process of alignment of, well, who do I want to be? It actually is important for me to identify, well, how do I want to behave? How do I want to show up to the world? How do I want to love people? How do I want to think? How do I want to even feel? And then I get to choose when I feel something out of alignment or think something out of alignment. I get to choose, am I going to bring it back into submission to my ideal and to who God says I am? Or am I going to continue to like feed that thought and continue to nurture it and cultivate it? Because the more we think about something, it's like blowing gasoline on a fire, and it just gets bigger and bigger and bigger, and it gets that much harder to bring it into alignment. So the thought of mastering and controlling our minds, so much of it is, all right, well, do I actually want to feed and nurture this thought? And there have been so many little micro moments, because so often it's the micro moments that build the discipline and build the practice for when game day comes and we have a big fight or a big issue or there's a big problem in our lives. There was a morning over Christmas where I was driving to my sister's house and I just felt so tired. And I was like, oh, today, what is today ruined because I'm so tired because we stayed up late last night with the family. And then I realized, I was like, you know what? I don't want to be tired. I don't want to. And so therefore, I'm not going to focus on being tired, because where we place our attention is where we place our energy. So if I'm giving energy to these thoughts, I'm going to perpetuate that being the case. So where do I want to end up? If I want to have a beautiful, wonderful day, then I'm actually going to place my attention there. If I want to love people, I'm going to place my attention there. If I want to be angry at somebody, I'm going to fixate on the anger. So, but I will say it's so important that we do feel the anger. That's why she says this. In the exercise is to close your eyes and search for whatever makes you angry, and only then sit with the anger. And then I'm determined to see this person or this situation differently. And then we zoom out. Then we allow for the additional context. Then we get to ask, well, do I want to stay here? Then we employ the power of choice. But we can't just ignore the stimulus. Viktor Frankl said this in his book, Man's Search for Meaning. He was a psychologist in Auschwitz in Germany. He said, in between stimulus and response is choice. Anger is a stimulus. So how are we going to choose our response? And so that's just a good reminder for today, the power of choice. And again, final reminder of today's lesson, I am determined to see things differently. Before I jump off, I just wanted to jump back into the chat. Travis, Nichols, good to see you. Austin, thanks for coming on here. Phil, the Knowing Show is all about cultivating effectively who we are I think of it as kind of like 4 regions: our intellectual intelligence, emotional intelligence, physical intelligence, spiritual intelligence. And so we talk about one or more every single day. This conversation every morning, I go live every morning, 8:30 a.m. Eastern. This is our time to move through A Course in Miracles. It's a workbook that has a lesson for every day. And so this is our time where we talk more so about like the mental cultivation. And like, I think of it honestly as going to the gym, like mastering our minds, and then also spiritual intelligence here. Misha, thank you for coming on here. 3311, Papa Ham, thank you. 3311, thank you so much. Do you have moderators? No, I guess, you know what? I will have guests on, and I guess I'm more of the moderator. Like I interview them, if that's what you mean. Hello, Alonga. I'm just going to say Alonga. Good to see you. My dancer, thank you. Thank you so much for coming on here. 3311, I see what you mean in terms of moderator, in terms of the chat. I actually have been thinking about how to engage with the chat more intentionally. So I'm looking into that because I want to be more intentional with the chat. So I'm figuring out how to be aware of the chat while talking in a better way rather than sitting here reading it. But Brian, oh, your name's Brian. Good to see you. Mr. Mark, no, I am a woman. John, thank you for joining. That's so funny. Terry, Maddie, oh my. James, it's interesting. I'd be curious to hear more on that for you. I think that there's probably a story there. Exercise is great for thoughts. I completely agree. Y'all, that is I'm so glad you said that, James. Exercise is great for thoughts. It really, really is. So going to the gym or just going for a run or whatever early in the morning is actually a really, really great way to just start almost like waking up the mind, body, soul, spirit. Going to the gym first, I actually Man, that's like my favorite. Rather than that's kind of how I start out my vertical alignment time is by awakening my body. And then also to your point, it really does like awaken the thoughts. So anyways, Taurus, thank you. Have a wonderful day. Anthony, thank you for joining. Calvin, Nick, thank you all so much for joining. I hope you all have a wonderful day. Again, a reminder of today's lesson. I am determined to see things differently. There's a great big world out there, and it's probably safe to assume that we only get a very small picture of what we see. So with that, have a wonderful day. I will be on again tonight, 8:30-ish.